over-eager in the late game.
That's what it is too, and I think that honestly makes me think that Vitality.Bee, they're not gonna slip up this time around. You, after a loss like that where it was all in your hands, everything was firing on all cylinders, one crucial mistake ends up costing it for you in the end. I think they're gonna come into today, really clean things up, and really show us like, okay, we're 4-1 for a reason. Let's get up to 5-1, tie us with BDSA and with LDLC.
Absolutely. Looking for the big dub here, as we'll see exactly what did end up coming through for the bans. Thresh, Gwen, Akali, Orianna, Syndra, and Corki. A lot of mid lane bans, which means that we could get some mid laners coming in towards phase 1, but for now, it is going to be at least a little bit of priority on the jungler, as it's going to be the Xin Zhao picked up.
I really like that because Akabane, of course, pretty strong on the Xin Zhao. I think most of the junglers who've been playing Xin early on in this league so far have been doing a really good job. It's overall a very strong pick, right up there with Lee Sin. So getting that in Akabane's pocket is good. I like the immediate Victor takeaway. That's the most interesting thing for me because the mid lane matchup was something we wanted to talk about. I think Checolad has just been excellent in and of himself when he is playing out in this mid lane. Had a great Victor game yesterday, and honestly was the reason Chaya could not perform.
That was one of the big factors, and while talking about that, we also have Diplex, who won't get his Orianna, but we know he deserved MVP in our hearts at least with the way that he was hitting a lot of those shockwaves. So I'm very excited for what we end up getting here on the other side. The Jhin, of course, does end up coming through up against the Jinx, but now it's a matter of, do you want to grab your mid laner now, since you already know where the Victor is, of course, or do you want to try to save that going in towards phase 2? But, they baited me there for a second.
I know, I thought about it.
But, Checolad, he's played this in the past.
Okay, so this is an interesting one. I mean, when it comes to lane priority, these two champions are very interesting. Both kind of need some time, a little bit of golden itemization before they can really start vying for early prio. But I think early on in this matchup, it is going to actually favor Checolad. Even in the game GameWard lost, he did play the Azir pretty well. I believe it was last week on day 1. And ultimately, I think this is going to be a good pick overall because we talk about setup here for the squad. You're going to have the curtain call. You're going to have pretty much the entire kit of Xin Zhao there for Akabane. So I think that if played well, GameWard already have a pretty solid team fight going for them here. I think the thing that's going to round this one out at this point, if Vitality.Bee don't ban it, is we could consider the Ornn to come through. Because when we talk about late game scaling, yeah, Jhin can do damage, but it's not the DPS of Jinx. You know who can though? Azir. And all you really need now is one final piece to really set this one up. I'm talking Ornn, I'm talking Sion. Listen, Melanik, I know you played good on GP yesterday, but you just eat it for your team this time, please.
Yes, well, Gragas was banned away. Vitality might think about getting rid of that Ornn.
I think
it's a matter of, do they want the Jace to potentially play into it? Can they stop it from getting to a point where it's going to be really effective? It's almost always going to be valuable in team fights, but they are going to pinch out what he was good on yesterday and just remove the gangplank.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, there's still a world where GameWard could have gone for that one as well, but I think now at this point, maybe Ornn has got to be in the cards for this team. Either way, you already have your top laner too, so I can't imagine in terms of what we're going to see on that last pick for Vitality.Bee, it's going to be something other than support. I think you give Jack Troll the best matchup you can go for, I think, in that support role, and what that's going to end up meaning is the fact that, well, Jack Troll's been pretty good in these early games, both in lane and out of it, so I think setting him up for success with the picks you've gotten for yourself is probably going to do them a lot of good.
We'll have to see here for us. Lee Sin taken away. Also have to pinch out maybe a second, and that's exactly what we get. So Jarvan, make sure he doesn't jump on top of this Jhin, or even, Checolad, you can stop the shuffle from coming through after.
You wouldn't.
So we'll see, but yeah, can't imagine we'll get a Nidalee. Skeens does like the early aggressive champions, but we'll see if that's what ends up actually coming in.
Jason Nidalee, not bad. It's a lot of range, a lot of poke here, and space creation, so it could be something that comes through, but yeah, kind of like I'm expecting. I am thinking we'll see a jungler here. We do have a lot of options. I actually would like the Poppy. I think it's super underrated in the jungle at the moment here too. Okay, I'm really into that one for a lot of reasons. Of course, the wave clear is good. The playmaking in the early levels is pretty much up there with the members of like Lee Sin, Xin Zhao, and J4. And the thing that's really important with all the movement you see on GameWard's composition, that steadfast presence. I don't have my censor button, so I can't say what Mark likes to say, but the point is, that's a good pick.
It is a good pick, yeah. Stops the shuffle entirely, stops Xin Zhao from following up on when it becomes lightning. So certainly, and now we'll see exactly what else comes in. We did get the Ornn, of course, at the top lane along with another tank, and now it's an Alistar to try to get some more tanks in the mix for Vitality.
I think this is great. Like overall, when it comes to the frontliners here for Vitality.Bee, you got a lot of space creation going between your support and jungle. You have a lot of tankiness, that ability to either disengage from plays
Yeah.
or actually start them off. And I mean, if you look at GameWard, I mean, with the exception of Orin and how you can use his ult both ways, you want to go in one direction here. And I think Vitality.Bee are going to be able to play into that one really well. These front-to-back team fights are going to look quite good. You have a lot of ways, interestingly enough.
And here we go. Beatdown. I want to start this one off here talking about Vitality, because yesterday they were just seconds away about actually being able to close out BDSA. BDSA obviously the first team to take down LDLC today. We saw that in one of our hypest matches of the day, and it was all off of a late game push that they should not have opted in for, even though they had the Elder Dragon. This is something we've seen before from Team Oplon, and just not being able to really close the game out. But something we have seen is clean early games and clean mid games, and we'll have to see if GameWard have done their prep to make sure that Vitality isn't just running the map.
That's the thing I'm looking for here. It's worth noting Chameleus is on a very comfort champion for him here. He does love the Leona, is very proficient on the pick. It's going to be really nice in lane. It's going to be nice out of lane. So for GameWard's side, I am looking to see what Chameleus is going to be able to do. We already talked about it in the last series, or the last match rather, how supports moving into the mid lane, trying to affect that part of the matchup and having that impact outside of the bottom lane. So I want to see what Chameleus is going to look for, syncing up with Akabane like we saw last game. Joko and Steelback are like the premier jungle support duo. I think so. In GameWard, they're going to have to channel a little bit of that.
Yes, they will. And Skeens, will keep an eye on him, as he is going to be one of the big players here on the Poppy. Just early engaged, and I mean, rightly so. Alistar is awful level 1, so
true.
You can punish him unless he's willing to try to make a big flash pulverized play, but I can't imagine that is going to take place here for us. Either way, I was talking about Skeens yesterday. He had a solid performance, I would say, overall. Now he's on this Poppy. He's opted into phase rush here, so he's looking to get himself in and then right back out if he needs to, but it feels like you do actually have a lot of gank potential if you can find the angle. But Checolad's going to make sure to drop an early ward once he goes for his Raptors.
Yeah, smart. You get the inkling that the leash is coming through, so they know Skeens is on that bottom side of the map. What that means is you just want to keep an eye on this jungle, because you know Skeens, like you said, in and out with the phase rush. So much for this level 3 Poppy to be able to do in the early minutes of the game. And speaking of level 3, Akabane is here.
Yes, he is. Shigenda is going to be able to force back Melanik, and Skeens is close enough in the area. It looks like pings are coming down, so both should know exactly where each other are. You can see the pings coming down since Akabane has not picked up his blue buff, so they will have an idea, and that means that Shigenda should still be free to be able to put some pressure on the Ornn.
And at the moment, too, the one thing I'm also looking for when it comes to roaming, having effect on other parts of the map, is I want to see what the mid laners are able to do. Checolad especially is that kind of player, uses his leads on other parts of the map. We have seen him go for these roams, and he's definitely not the only mid in this league who's been able to do that. So I want to see this game if he's going to be able to not only keep this pressure up to Diplex, keeping him under tower, trading very effectively as he so often does, but also what he's going to be able to do. I like this. Skeens won't see him.
Oh, Shigenda is probably thinking he's safe. That ward's just about to expire, and I think he's found the timing. Shigenda should know something is up. Skeens is in the area. If Shigenda could buy time, but that's a lot of CC.
He
deals some damage back. The knockup is there. Shigenda does manage to close the distance a tad bit, but not enough. And Akabane comes through with a successful gank.
Really nice play early on. You set this Jace behind, even though we already agreed he is going to be a tough one later on no matter what. Slowing it down, that's the big thing. And Shigenda is definitely one of the big tools that Vitality.Bee are going to use later on into this game when it comes to damage, when it comes to range, right along there with Diplex. So getting some kills in Akabane's pocket, allowing him to get strong enough to continue having this impact is a big deal. And speaking of impact, look at Checolad. Hasn't backed once just yet, Austin. He's got this so much pressure onto Diplex, who's already had to back TP to lane and also by the Doran's ring.
Yeah, already by the Doran's ring, like you said, has to come back. And now we'll see if Checolad decides to hold on to the teleport or not. I would imagine maybe you look at using it, but could stop dives from coming through if he does decide to hang onto that for now. Skeens taking a look at his pathing, as he already has the first kill. Now we'll have some tempo back on the map. Inax is going to back up a tad bit here as well. Just trying to wonder where everyone is, but looks like resets pretty much across the board. Jack Troll also going to take his. Checolad now coming back to lane. Only has about half of the mana in the health bar, but has opted into getting the corruption pots here. Has the biscuits, so should be fine. And we'll continue to try to poke out Diplex at least early. You can abuse the Victor in the early stages before the upgrades start to come into play.
That's right, the E upgrade being the big thing in play there. I like Jack Troll already. on the move before his first recall just to cover the Raptor steal from Skeens. And now you can see him, they're moving together, and now he's gonna move in to set up some vision. Chameleus looking to do the same thing here, but I like those pings actually. Chameleus, seen him move to the mid lane before. He has an angle on Diplex if he isn't careful.
We'll see if he can actually find it. Chameleus loving this Leona. Played it a ton last year, I believe it was in the Prime League. And seeing exactly if he's going to be able to find a roam. Looks like no, so now they're going to move up here. Remember, no flash on Shigenda. This could be a three-man play, but in the bot lane, they're setting up a play here as well onto Chameleus. Is going to be a little bit low, has the flash, and I mean, Leona's very tanky. It is just Skeens and Jack Troll, so he's very happy about that one. Gives us the thumbs up,
oh,
and now
nice
another
dive.
thumbs up, this time around for GameWard as they will find a successful play.
What did I say? Checolad getting leads and moving around the map with them, assisting in that dive, getting his first kill, and he's certainly a player you want to be getting ahead. And like you called, Austin, he holds on to that TP, not necessarily to defend the dive, but to get back to lane after setting up a dive of his own. Really nice in the early levels, in the early minutes of the game from GameWard, and this is what we were looking for from this squad. Are they really the real deal, Austin? Some of their wins have been against good teams, and to be fair, they've had a tough schedule, but this game against Vitality.Bee, they highlighted on the desk, is a big test for them.
The Dragon is what ends up going over here for Vitality.Bee, so they'll snatch up the first one of the game, but it is an early 1K gold lead over to GameWard. A lot of that punish again happening on towards Shigenda, which it feels like a lot of junglers are kind of okay with not playing around the Jaces in the season. We already touched on this, the fact that you can actually go 0-2 in lane, fall behind, and be fine when you get to the team fights with the amount of poke that you end up dealing onto some of the carries and the squishy members on the team. We'll see the blue buff now picked up for Diplex just to make things a tad bit easier, and I imagine Checolad will be able to grab his here in the near future as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a big thing here. Diplex, who's getting forced under tower very often. At least it's going to be a little more helpful, allowing him to spam some of these spells here just to be able to get as much wave clear as possible. They've been pretty even in farm thus far, both of these mid laners, but still, Checolad having that map impact that we were looking for here in the early parts of the game. Now with level 6, now with that chapter and blasting one, like he is in a pretty strong position here if we want to fight for that Rift Herald coming up in less than a minute's time.
And, you know, I really do like the playstyle difference here for GameWard, where it feels like Melanic has been, you know, opted into some different champions. We saw week 1, week 2 was a lot of the Jaces coming at the Graves, and it was finding no success, right? He wasn't building up a lot of CS leads, wasn't finding kills, and that was also due to Akabe not necessarily finding windows to be able to get him ahead, but it does feel like he's been more comfortable on these Gangplanks, which was banned from him today, but did look good on it yesterday. Now on the Yor, to be responsible for the setup, and they've already been able to put Shigenda behind here. One of the rocks, I would say, for Vitality. You go back to some of the earlier weeks with the Kennen coming into play, and Vitality were getting a lot of work done with it with the help of Shigenda. But now with the Ornn in the top lane, who can easily rotate over, they're going to try to make a play on this Rift Herald, and I don't think that will be contested.
You got to imagine there isn't much to be done about it, especially with Skeens. I think they saw him on that bottom side of the map, and that is just the green light for GameWard to be able to take this Rift Herald. They talked about it when we spoke to the coaching staff. Those early minutes in the game, prioritizing things like the Rift Herald are some of the things they've been trying to do to improve their gameplay, and we have been seeing it. It's contributed a lot to the 2 wins we've seen from this squad so far. We're seeing it again today, and what does that mean? Shigenda, the rock, one of the rocks of Vitality.Bee, who's been getting a lot of pressure, is someone who they could pressure even further. Checolad finds another opening to go to the top lane. Another dive comes through. That could be the whole turret.
I like that play from Checolad right there. Just goes into the fog, just to make them think, all right, mid laner might be roaming down here, guys. I don't think we can force a dive, and just that little play, that little moment. Now, a big dive in the top side. There's the flash. Akabane doesn't want to follow it up. He does have the Rift Herald, and it might be an interesting moment to try to use it. You could get a lot of plays, and Shigenda is forced to back up, but looks like Akabane just going to simply move it for the camp.
I like it. You have that ping coming through, maybe some help on the next wave. That Akabane is going to be able to steal some camps. There is no dive that's going to come through just yet. It's again the good sense to be able to avoid that one, especially with the pings coming through for Checolad's momentary disappearance. The pressure overall, like you said, keeps playing in fog, keeps making it difficult for Vitality.Bee to be like, all right, where's this guy going? He's already got 1 good kill. I can't let him get another one, and that's the thing that they're concerned about. Still, though, Herald is in play for Akabane for many minutes more if they want to make the play for it, Austin.
Well, that right there, Jessica just throws out the ultimate just to delay the back.
Yeah.
Just to be a little annoying here. And won't let Chameleus reset as fast as he wants to, but that's fine. He still gets back. And top lane, ooh, it is the spell book that's picked up, so that means that Ignite is ticking away. But you do have some reinforcements coming. Melanick, you got to be careful. He has the flash. We'll see if Skeens can find an angle to try and get on top of him. Does have the Keeper's Verdict available, so it is the flash that comes out, but he's able to keep his life.
Yeah, and I like the pressure still. Shigenda is in a tough spot. Actually having to TP now is not ideal. He really, really, really wants this wave shoved into the turret. You can see Jack Troll canceling his back to help him make sure that can happen here, because otherwise a lot of farm threatening to be lost. But look at Shigenda, low health, low mana. He's just hoping that Melanick isn't able to freeze, and it's looking like he got his wish.
That's right, he does. Bot lane, Akabane and Chameleus now going to come down here. Let's see if they can potentially still drop this Rift Child. Remember, they have this available, but we also have 35 seconds on our next Dragon. Will be a Chemtech Drake. First one was picked up from Vitality. GameWard, I'm sure, would love to get their hands on the second to stop the Dragon stacking from getting in play, but instead it's a quick reset. Akabane says, hey, listen, I got my Gore Drinker, guys. Let me get this. Let me come back it on the map, and now you could even look at using this Rift Child to create some pressure in one of the lanes and then move over to the Dragon if you wish.
And it's play we've seen time and time again, Austin. It's so very valuable, and I think those pings we're seeing on the minimap tell us exactly that. The story is going to be for GameWard. They want to make a play for this Dragon. Akabane's going to walk up, threaten, and then drop the Rift Herald and walk his way down. There it is. You're going to get the mid laner of GameWard. One of these standout players, some of this extra gold into his pocket, and on such a carry champion like Azir, there is no one you'd rather it be on. Checolette had to use the Emperor's Divide, but it's just now coming back off of cooldown. Do GameWard actually want to fight? I mean, they have Mythics, but it's looking like they don't have the position they want to, especially with Shigenda showing up here, making a really clever roam play on his prio.
And Axe tries for the snipe. Would have been a big one to get, but not going to be able to really get anything else from it. Everyone else moves into the top side, and that signals Shigenda. All right, I'm just going to go to the golems here. I know I'm not allowed to go to my tower right now.
That's right, the map-wide announcement. Hey guys, my whole team is on the other side of the map. It would be a real shame if you dived me under my turret for what, the third time in a row. So yeah, gotta pay his respects. Well, Skeen using that pressure to snag away some jungle camps. He is pretty even as Inax is trying to stifle the stealing as much as he can here, but ultimately, Dragon stacking going really well for Vitality.Bee, and the Cloud Dragon for this squad, I actually think is honestly a pretty big deal. Being able to get that movement speed after committing your ultimates, I think benefits the majority of Vitality.Bee's comp.
A lot of respect being shown whenever dives are potentially on the table. Inax, just his awareness throughout the last couple days, specifically in this week, feels like he's just been on a bit of a different level here for us in the LFL. Looking to still try to grab that second dub as the Mega Death Rocket's going to come out. It's going to stop the back again.
Wow.
Jessica, he's continuing to be annoying. He's just like, I'm just going to delay 10, 15 seconds, mess with your tempo just a tad bit.
And you like that. I mean, it's going to give Diplex the opportunity. You see the pings coming through. Checolette is asking for help. Like, guys, don't let him shove this wave. I need to try and hold on to this, and that's why Akabane is here. Chameleus is here, and the teleport is coming in. They wanted to see if Diplex would go for a disrespectful play, but it isn't there. Things have slowed back down again. We are having the Raptors handshake trade again between our junglers here. And so far, Skeens on a very impact-heavy jungle in the early game. Might have some impact on to go. Oh, my God. Good.
Everyone's just playing so intelligent. I mean, Vitality, they're trying to set up the play. They know Jessica is hammering away at the tower. Just a quick ward from Chameleus. It's small, but that's not small. That's a play. Chameleus flashes forward.
Nice.
And now Jessica should be able to dodge out. But now Jack Troll will get knocked up, but able to take the blast cone actually over the wall, but will have to use the ultimate. So a lot of ultis coming through, a lot of plays trying to be made, but no one's going to drop.
I mean, when we talk about intelligence coming through from Inax, I think that's really nicely done by Jessica as well. Doesn't have to commit the flash. Cleanse, Gale Force, he dodges out pretty much every shot from the curtain call. I think he's been pretty strong in this one lane as well. He's up 20 CS. He got, I'm pretty sure, 4 solo plates, if my memory serves. So he is going to be a big carry threat on Vitality.Bee, much like Checolad will be for GameWard. So he's someone that has to be watched out for. And I think Jack Troll, we got a little example in that skirmish of what his resistances are going to look like, because he popped that Unbreakable Will. And if he can get those angles he's looking for, Austin, set up Jessica, set up Diplex, Vitality.Bee will have a good time.
Jessica, head in CS, gets all of that solo gold. First blood tower in his pocket. That's going to make him that much stronger, but they did make an early swap. I think they ultimately knew that that tower was going to go down, so Inax has already made his way in the top side to make sure that he is here to play around his jungler for this Rift Herald. So a smart play should be a Rift, depending on whether or not Skeens wants to get in there, but it's already going to be taken away before they even have a chance to move in for it. So another Rift Herald going to be available. And that mid lane tower, it's just hanging on by a thread. They don't even have to use the Rift. They might be able to get it right here.
And again, GameWard thinking a step ahead so far with some of the plays and trades that they've been making. That's more gold into Checolad's pocket. You always love to see that. And with this Rift Herald, you want to threaten Jessica because he's shown up, but you're going to settle with that top tier 3 turret. That's going to be 2 turrets in your favor now for GameWard. More gold in their favor. And look who's here, Austin.
Oh, Melanik already deep in the back line.
Oh, Jacktroll's gone.
He will go down. Big pick. Shelly still very much available. They could look for the tier 2 or at least get the charge.
It's probably going to be just the charge here unless...
Whoa, Chameleus, he's coming around the back. That's going to be a big play from Skeens. He's able to lock him up. Chameleus is low. Chameleus is down.
Oh, not
the
good.
tower will continue to stand, and Jessica gets some resets.
Oh,
Inax
he's
gets
chasing.
hit with the zap. There's the re-engage.
Oh, the
shuffle.
shuffle.
The shuffle from Checolad stops Jessica from being able to find any value. Shigenda looks like he got a tier 2, but they make big plays in the top side here on GameWard.
Yeah, but some trades went through the whole time. Shigenda was on this bottom side of the map here, getting all this gold, getting all this farm completely uncontested. And we talked about it. The thing with running the Ornn, you're spending a lot more time with your team. You're letting these farm-heavy top laners get a lot of alone time with a lot of these side waves. And that is going to bode well for Vitality.Bee. No matter how much Shigenda got all this attention in that top lane, now he's got that second item and he's almost stacking towards the Muramana. And that means those enhanced shock blasts, Austin, they're going to hurt a lot. And he is already in a strong enough position where you can see it. He's walking through mid. He's going to hold hands with his team, and they're going to make a play for what could be their sole point.
Scuttle Crab being set up. Chameleus walking up with no fear.
This guy doesn't
Get
care.
out of the river. The boys behind me right now, so they're not sweating whatsoever. Inax going to set up some traps just to make things a tad bit more difficult if they want to come through the choke here close to the mid lane, but instead Vitality, they just walk around. Shigenda can now start looking for some of the shock blasts, but GameWard doing the correct thing first. They're going to play for mid lane priority, but the Dragon now on the table.
No Ornn ulti, so this is actually going to be pretty tough. Vitality.Bee have everything they need, including the Keeper's Verdict. We know how big this can be for 50-50s.
Can they knock them away? Dragon fully resets as GameWard are able to move into the river here. That mid lane wave is not going to be picked up from Vitality, so losing out a little bit. You feel like they want to get this Dragon. This would put them on sole point. GameWard, are they going to find an angle in? Chameleus is just going to clear position in the back,
verdict?
but the Keeper's Verdict is good.
No jungler.
Stop Akabane, and well, the big play comes in. That will put them on sole point. Vitality continue to stack, but now the call of the Forge God. Back up and available, layering the CC.
That's one.
There's the Zenith Blade. They will take down Diplex. Looking for the second. Jacktroll in the mix of it all, very low. Alistar taking up what he can. Inax in the back, looking for snipes. Can't hit the mark, but they're able to come away with 2.
Man, what a nice fight for GameWard. They can't stop the sole point, but they get the pressure afterwards, and Jeskla, no, okay, he's gonna be fine. No one wants to go for him, but ultimately, very positive play coming from GameWard. As good as the Cloud sole point is for Vitality.Bee, it just doesn't have the impact of the other ones. So I like that GameWard, Chameleus, had that good position, forcing Shigenda to group up with his team by that blue buff, and that means they just go in, get the Ornn ulti that Melanik finally got online and ended up coming through. And what that means is 6 kills to 1. GameWard have the 2K gold lead going in their favor. And Austin, it's in all the right places. Checolad, Inax, they're really turning up.
Yeah, 2-0-3 right now for Checolad. Been very active, rotating from lane to lane throughout this game so far. Even got to give some credit over to Akabane, who we have talked about has been struggling in some of the mid games sometimes and is not able to always turn leads into snowballs, but this has certainly been a snowball so far for them. The only, or I guess, big card playing against them is the fact that Vitality are on soul point, and it is sure just a Cloud soul, but you're certainly going to take that. Useful for, you know, people like the Alistar going in, Victor as well, kiting around, you name it. So will still be a useful Dragon that you would love to be able to secure for yourself, but how about a Jacktroll? You'd love to secure that too. He
see ya.
into the pit. He might be buying time.
Wait a minute, he almost has ulti.
And he free fire away. Skeen's also got inside of the pit. Here comes the
Forge God.
Call the Forge God finds one. They are in the Baron pit.
Checolad
has found the mid laner. Diplex out of the fight. They're going to get the Baron on top of them now too. It's going to be Chameleon who goes a little bit too deep. So two actually come back. They cannot capitalize on everyone inside of the pit. And Vitality somehow turn that fight around.
It's all about the stalling coming through from Jack Troll. He lives long enough to get that unbreakable will and long enough for Shigenda and Jeskla to output the damage. And Vitality.Bee, they managed to hold on. Not only that, Austin, pick up some shutties and start to close the gap here in terms of gold. And they're in a good spot when you consider the map. They have bot push, they have top push, and you can see now Inax is only just now answering this mid wave.
Yeah, we take a look at this again. It's looking like Jack Troll will be caught out, but you mentioned it, that flash just to buy time.
Right, and you can see it. Diplex is coming through. The TP is coming from Shigenda. Watch Jeskla right now. Flashes the Solar Flare. Dodges the Call of the Forge God. Excellent mechanics coming through from Vitality.Bee's AD carry. And the fact that he's able to just dodge out on a lot of the CC that's been hampering him all game long, he's able to have the impact that Vitality.Bee needs.
And when Checolad isn't able to just free fire away with his soldiers, you can definitely see the DPS fall off with this team. It is just Inax who's still trying to get 2-3 items before those shots really start to hurt. But taking a look at the lane assignments, Checolad's going to come down to the bot side here. Still 3-0-3. Very juiced up at the moment. And you can see the respects being paid right now. Shigenda's like, are you here alone? There's a couple people missing on the map. But again, you can see it. Anyone who's playing on the side lanes, always making sure they're putting themselves in a good position where they're not going to be dove.
Yeah, Shigenda has certainly learned his lesson on that one, Austin. But look at this again. The side waves playing very well for GameWard, or rather Vitality.Bee, who are keeping them pushed in. Diplex, of course, putting down this vision to make sure nobody can sneak up on him. And what does that mean? You have vision control over this top side of the map. Look at the red wards. Vitality.Bee have pushed this vision line very deep into GameWard's jungle, so much so that GameWard have to commit that blue trinket. They need to know, just in case Vitality.Bee make the play for the Baron, but instead they can keep A-ramming for the moment as people like Checolad and Melanik have to push out the sideways.
Well, they stay in fog of war just maybe a couple seconds more, and Chameleon's might have face checked them. You could even see Checolad making a movement on the map there from the bot side, coming up because he doesn't have the teleport, thinking that maybe they really were on the Baron after clearing the vision, but it's not the case. Checolad gets the shove. He wants to pull off one reset here before the dragon spawns. Already 3 dragons secured for Vitality. They're looking for the Cloud Soul, and we are 35 seconds away before we see that 4th dragon.
This is an interesting spot to be in here. You're going to see Skeens continue pushing this top wave, giving away a lot of the pressure I think Vitality.Bee would have on this bottom side of the map. But think about it, Austin. We're 22 minutes in the game. Vitality.Bee have gotten the first 3 Drakes. It's their sole point, and look at where they're moving on the map here. They're focusing their attention on this Baron. What does that mean? GameWard are going to just send a small presence, a small force to secure this dragon, and that gives Vitality.Bee the opening. They're starting the Baron.
Yes, they are. Will they be able to do enough damage to it in time before they rotate over? Still very healthy. Jeskala's going to shred it down, but they might be looking for the turn. And look at Jack Troll's position. They have no idea where he is. Could he find an angle in? Chameleon is stepping up. GameWard want to contest it, but Inax low on health. Checolad as well. They're just going to turn right on Jack Troll. He uses the ultimate, but the Baron still being attacked. Finally, Vitality going to get off to it. Can Jack Troll find the angle? He's in a position.
Ult's gone.
Looks like Vitality going to make the call. They don't want to take the fight.
Yeah, really nice angle from Jack Troll, but even not. Oh, wait a second.
Long range engage. Look out. Skeens has to flash away immediately.
Look who's in trouble.
Find the shot onto Shigenda. Could
there be a shuffle?
Yes, there is. Checolad finds the top laner. Shigenda is down, and now GameWard can look at the dragon.
What a great way back into this fight here. Both times from Checolad to be able to, one, catch Jack Troll, who's on the flank, and take him out, force him to use the ultimate, and then again, where GameWard used that engage to get a kill. They managed to not only prevent the Baron, but they get this, they deny the Dragon Soul as well, and they still manage to hold on to their 2K lead. Their team fight tools are still so powerful.
24 minutes in this game. GameWard holding on to that gold lead by about 2,000, and they deny the soul. That is going to be massive. Stalling out some more time. The Baron, of course, still going to be active. No one ends up trading it. A lot of that attention, though, about the shift right back over to the pit. Jack Troll going to start to lay some of the groundwork here with the vision. Has Chameleus nearby, who's already out here. Always got to give credit to Chameleus. Always the first one out, it feels like here.
Yeah.
Good on the tempo resets, making sure that he is taking away vision. He's also hovering around Checolad, who is becoming a monster here. Beats down those items. They are coming in. I think he's gonna start farming the Gromp here. Might be very close to his third item, or at the very least might be very close to a second needlessly large rod.
Yeah, and that's going to be a lot more AP for this Azir. And let's go back to the supports for a second here, Austin. Like, you're highlighting Chameleus, Jack Troll, and I think both of them definitely deserve a lot of praise. They're both very important in how both of these teams want to be operating here. And I think Jack Troll, especially for Vitality.Bee, who are a little bit behind, if they want to find their ways back in, it is a lot of pressure on this Alistar. You see Jack Troll, he's trying, he's so good in a lot of the games he's played, finding these angles, finding these ways into the fight. But because of how they're sniffing him out, Austin, he might have to get a little more creative now.
The Death Cap did in fact come in on the base.
Oh my god.
Checolad has the TP, so we can create some pressure in the side lane, but Vitality might try to get that TP out of the mid laner here on GameWard. They're still dancing around the Baron pit, trying to deny vision, playing through the mid wave, but the mid lane tower is still standing for GameWard to make sure that they stand tall here, and we'll be able to play with the safety net of it. Checolad might start to rotate up, as we'll see exactly what GameWard are looking for. Whenever you see the Ornn in the mid lane, you always have to be careful of the engage. Agenda is in trouble. That's the engage I was talking about. Here comes the call of the Forge God. They find the knockup, and now it is going to be a kill on Shagenda.
The
knockup comes back. 1 for 1 so far. Skeens gets out with a sliver of HP. Akabane goes back in, looking for the jungler. Jungler is down. Double kill comes through for Akabane, and now it might be a Baron attempt for GameWard.
So intelligent from GameWard. I love how Checolad holds on to the TP, continues pushing bottom lane. It's because he knows the jig is up. Vitality.Bee, they can't play for the Baron Force anymore. They know it's all about the turn, so they buy their time. They get the fight they want because of Chameleus on the Leona, and that means we have the Baron buff. This 3K lead is going up to about 4.5, and GameWard are firmly taking control.
Firmly taking control, and Shagenda looking for the shock blast, and they just say, listen, we're going to pull the trigger.
Dude, insane Hex Flash from Chameleus. It all starts off here, even though one is back and forth. In this 4v5 scenario, the fact that they go 1 for 1 and have enough time for Checolad to be able to come through with the damage is why this was able to go through. Again, it all comes back to a minute earlier where they knew Vitality.Bee didn't have a chance at trying to sneak the Baron.
And here we go. The split pressure coming in. Checolad wanting to take that fight right now up against Shagenda, who might just end up showing him respect.
He's a big boy.
He is level 16 Azir, almost 300 CS at 27.5 minutes. The Shock Blast, though, will deal quite a bit of damage back, so that means that Checolad just going to take the tier 2 tower. We'll start off the reset, and now the rest of the wave starting to be set up here for GameWard as well.
And just a big flip in map state here in favor of GameWard. You can see it. The only wave really in need of pushing is that bottom side, and now because Shagenda has to focus mid, they lose that mid tier 2 turret, and the majority of GameWard can continue setting up vision on this bottom side, allowing Melanic to continue pushing this bottom side.
Oh, hello, that's an engage, and well, Chameleus a little bit too far forward. That's actually going to delay a lot of this Baron push here.
Yeah, and his teleport is coming through. Shagenda knows he has the stopwatch also, so he can get a little aggressive in this next fight. This could be the soul here. We're still 25 seconds away from Chameleus. That means no vision, no wards coming through at the moment until he gets back out on the map. But I like this. Checolad, he's actually pushing up quite a bit. Vitality.Bee are actually on reset to spend some of the gold here, get some crucial item spikes. You're seeing stopwatches come out for some key members, so you know Vitality see this as a very crucial fight.
A lot of players here with 3 items. Looking at Jetskla, has played the Jinx before. Looking to pop off here as long as he can position around the CC. Same thing goes for Inax as well as Checolad. A lot of DPS coming through. You gotta find Checolad, it feels like, in this fight. And he's got a big bounty over that head of his. But Shagenda on the side, starting to layer some of this poke. Melanic is actually taken very low. He loses almost all of his health bar. Might look at TPing back so that he's going to be able to join the fight, but they're going to start it up.
Empowered recalls is a big deal here. He's going to come back with all his health.
That's no ultimate now. Emperor's Divide is down, and that will be the Dragon secured. Somehow stolen away. Inax has taken down Jack Troll. GameWard are able to get into the pit, and it's Akabane that finds the smite.
They get their cake and eat it too, Austin. They get a pick, they deny the soul, and they have the Baron to keep pushing forward. Vitality.Bee, they have to reset, but they know their bottom inhibitor is all but forfeit, and now I love this. Chameleus sitting over the wall. There's vision. He is looking for that Hex Flash, Austin. Watch for when you see channeling.
Well, the keeper's verdict has now been used. It gets rid of the front line, but Melanik now back here to join his teammates. That will be the base broken open.
God.
Fourth shot does deal a little bit of damage. That's the ultimate. Jekyllad, is he going to be in some trouble? Goes in, but he'll be punished. It's Chameleus that drops first. Melanik not stunned up into the wall, but Diplex on the slow chase, looking to try to take down the tank, but into the turn. Diplex forced into that Zhonya's, will be able to get help from his teammates so that they can zone away GameWard, but they got what they came for. They break open the base.
And I mean, that one kill is paltry compared to what GameWard have gotten for themselves here. Now Shigenda has to move his way to the top side, has to shove this wave out for the farm and for that priority top side, because soon we have Baron in play.
And we'll take a look at this replay again. Akabane able to find his way into the pit. Good flash from Jack Troll, but ultimately he gets isolated.
I think for the second or third time in a row, Checolad has just been doing such a good job at removing Jack Troll from the equation. We talked about how important it is for him to be in these fights.
Absolutely.
Look for those ults. Use that ultimate, the Unbreakable Will, to set up for his team. But he can't. It's the mid laner of GameWard, the man we keep highlighting, doing all the dirty work for his team. He's like, I'll get the kills, I'll do the damage, and I will search out the support. I'll do it all.
Oh, he'll do it all. And well, there's a reason we talk a lot about Checolad here on GameWard. One of our keynotes coming into the week was play around Checolad.
Yes,
and well,
sir.
Checolad instead was like, I'm gonna play around everyone else. And that has worked out quite nicely here for him. Still deathless alongside just about everyone besides the tanks, which is perfect case scenario when you're talking about how you're looking to play the game. So GameWard really stepping it up, really looking like a strong team, finding their footing in week number 3 here of the LFL. But the job is not done just yet. They have a goal lead that has been building and building here, but now they want to make the play. Long range engage.
Look
that
who's
will
here.
be right onto the tank. Skeens actually loses a lot of his
damage.
HP. Deadly
He's gone.
Flourish. Chain CCs him and locks him down. Jungler out of the picture. 4v5. GameWard now have a massive advantage.
You know what? The thing I love about this too is that GameWard know they're minutes away from an objective coming through. They got an opening. Let's blow some ultimates, Austin. We're going to get some gold. We're going to get map pressure, and we'll have them back for when it matters most. A minute 45 for this Baron, and that's what Vitality.Bee cannot allow to happen. GameWard, they are in control. They are in the driver's seat, and we just need them to get it to the finish line here.
Resets coming in. Probably all in preparation of the Baron coming up here very soon here for us on the map. Skeens at least will be available and back up, but how do you deal with the long-range engage, especially when your tanks are just being shredded as soon as they try to walk up for the carries beatdown? And
the thing is, too, like, look at the itemization coming through from Jack Troll, from Skeens. Very little MR, and all the carry damage is coming through from Checolad. Full AP, full magic damage. They're looking.
Looking again. Who's going to be the target? That will be the call. The Forge Guy going wide, but Jack Troll, no flash, means that he's likely caught out. Jeskla firing over the wall. Jack Troll actually manages to walk and limp back to his team. But the Solar Flare locks him down again. No Unbreakable Will. He'll be shredded. Checolad on the side. Will look for the play. That will be a big shutdown. Shigenda looked for it, but he couldn't get the kill. 3 members remaining for Vitality.Bee in the mid lane as they are on the run, but the Zenith Blade finds the mark. Melanik at the front, absorbing the damage. Diplex can no longer survive, and now it's Jeskla and Skeens versus the world.
Oh, it's so hard. Jeskla does get a reset, but he ultimately has to walk away. GameWard win fight after fight, and they will take their prize, Austin. They know this dragon, and 45 seconds doesn't matter, not as much as the Baron. They keep finding the angles. They keep punishing Jack Troll, and in doing so, Vitality.Bee never get the fights they're looking for. That's going to be the Baron. They can set themselves up realistically with these empowered recalls to get yet another Air Drake.
Another one stacking them. That's a lot of cooldown reduction on those ultimates. It adds up. This one being a total of 30% here for you. And I mean, that is a lot more solar flares coming in, a lot more potential shuffles, and Checolad has showed us he has actually been able to find a lot of the isolated members in these fights. You have to wonder if Vitality.Bee need to play a little bit tighter. But here we go again. Another shot at being able to secure the soul. This would be their 3rd attempt. Last time, Akabane found the steal. Can he do it again?
Chameleus, he's looking for the angles. He's been so big, he might end up running into Jack Troll, who again has to be creative, has to try to avoid Checolad, who, by the way, no big deal, is just threatening to end the game here.
Yes, he is. Called the Forge God comes out. Dragon's low, and finally, it's going to be secured from Skeens.
That's Soul.
Can they look for anything more? It looks like
the
they're just on
recalls.
the run, but Checolad, he is still on the base, and
Oh my God.
they're stopping the recall. Jack Troll's going to buy a bit more
Checolad's gonna end.
time, but we got to look at what Checolad's doing because he's already been able to take down one Nexus tower.
Oh my
Skill
God,
members
yeah, he's
are
got
no
it.
longer here. He has the Baron beat down. It looks like he might be able to end the game all by himself. Second Nexus tower down. TP is coming through. Jeskla will
Oh
drive
my God!
Checolad deletes him and sends him to the gray screen. And all of Vitality are sent to the gray screen as it is going to be the Nexus that explodes. Big win coming through for GameWard.